When Will Smith and Jada went out, they already broke my heart. I'm like, I used to love Will. I used to think they were a great African American.
How you like them? She is a alpha female.
I know, but I'm just saying. Welcome back to Unspoken. I'm Marcel.
I'm Tanya.
I'm Dawn.
And here we have real talk, unapologetic, unscripted, and unfiltered about things that are happening in the real world right now. Each of us has come up with a topic or a subject that basically caught our attention. And now we're going to unpack it together with our guest, Kim Rice. How you doing, Kim?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, everybody.
Hi, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Kim Rice, and I am a real estate advisor. I am with Sotheby's International. I'm also the owner of Ambiance Furs, and I'm an artist, and I'm a mom who became recently an empty nester.
Yes.
So
Thank God.
happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Wow, so you are in real estate, and I know that you're in real estate in Miami and in the DMV, which are two high-priced markets. So there are home prices that easily get into the millions. How's real estate going in Miami?
Real estate is
I'm
kind
trying to
of
get
booming. The difference in the Miami area is that you have a bunch of people who are like ultra wealthy, if you know.
Yeah.
And you have a lot more cash buyers because
Yes.
these people they're like trust fund babies, tech people, crypto folks. So the market is so different because I used to be so curious, like where are these people getting money to buy like a $10 million property, a $30 million property? So it's so different, and it's being like rebuilt and sort of a rebirth all around Miami, like Brickell, Sunny Isles, and if you're familiar with Miami. So it's a different market than the DMV.
Miami used to be known for the cartels, though, too, right? Like,
It still is.
yeah, you know, like they used to actually. I mean, that real money used to be down
Yeah,
there,
it's
and
crazy.
So I mean, is do you still have to deal with that, like trying to navigate those waters? Because I mean, that's pretty intense, you know, with the criminal activity and they trying to launder paper through real estate deals. Do they still try that? How do you avoid that kind of
absolutely.
situation?
I don't know if that will ever be totally dissolved.
Right.
I think that just people are much more aware now.
Yeah.
Like I had some great clients of mine from the DMV, but they also live in South America and Colombia. They called me and said that they had an investor who really wanted something for about $25 million to park some funds. So I was excited because I'm thinking commission, like I want to hunt.
Right.
So after we had a few meetings and they were sort of like the translators because these people didn't speak English, and I got my partner there involved, we quickly saw that, okay, these funds seem super shady. They were going to buy like a hotel that's now built. But we were like, so where's the money coming from? And they could never totally clearly respond. They were just like, they really want to get money into the States on USA soil and just have it in a safe place.
Wow.
So we still have to be leery and mindful of those things. But I don't think it'll ever go anywhere completely.
Yeah, I've always heard that a lot of international investors wanted to buy, specifically in Miami. Because the real estate is supposedly cheaper. I don't know if it's still cheaper.
No, I won't say that.
Yeah, but they like to park the money there. But I also heard that the reason why there's so many cash buyers is because of the insurance on the water, like trying to get homeowners insurance. Is that true or not?
Well, it's very tough because especially since the building collapsed down there a few years ago, it's very tough that like buildings that are over like 10 years old, they are held to a completely new standard as opposed to new construction, whereas though they have to have a certain way and construction, the oversight is much more intense. So now the older condos, the fees are crazy. Like I've seen fees go from like $500 a month. Now they're like $1,500 a month.
Wow.
Because it's just like they're considered possibly a liability.
Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
people are looking more like, give me something new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are cash buyers, and a lot of people are like second homes, vacation homes, Airbnb. So it's like a whole sort of business model or lifestyle, whereas though they live somewhere else, but they are doing something in Miami too.
So the average person in Miami, are they buying? I know they're not buying cash. So are they able to get financing? And I mean, the price point is high. So how are they doing it? Are they like coming together? Is it a lot of like roommate situations going on?
Well, I think it's different. It depends on the market because Miami itself, you have Miami and then the outskirts. You got Brickell Key. You got Boca, which is not technically Miami, but when DC people say DC, they might refer to Chantilly.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But technically, like right in and around Miami Beach is very costly. Like you're really not going to find anything like less than $1 million. I mean, maybe you get something 700,000, a small condo, but you can get financing. It could be a little more difficult, and you might require a higher down payment. But you do have surprisingly a lot of people pouring in from all over the world with cash. Like they're buying these houses, and not just $1 million, they're buying $50 million properties.
Wow.
Yeah, like insane. Like there's a condo, Aston Martin, and I had a buyer for one of the first buyers at Aston Martin residences. The penthouse is like 80 million.
Does it come with the Aston Martin?
It does. It does.
She said
Some
it
of the
does.
units actually
Yeah.
they're delivered with an Aston Martin, and some are like very rare, like 1 of 100 in the world.
Did the Porsche building come with Porsche? That one didn't come with Porsche.
The Porsche building is there, and the Porsche building was the first one in the world in Miami. The second is in Germany, and I actually just came back from Thailand, and I'm working with the partners there who's building the Porsche residences in Bangkok.
Wow,
That'll be
that's
22
amazing.
units.
I'm sure they're not as expensive, right?
They're pricey. But again, when you say pricey to some people, everything is perception and where you are.
That's true.
Because for me, I'm like, oh my God. But for people who like have $500 million, they're like, oh, 20 million, that's fine.
Yeah.
So it just depends on who you're speaking to, what their perception is and how they relate to that.
Any of them sugar daddies?
Yeah, we can talk about that after.
I mean, if they looking for, I won't be an alpha female. I'll be quiet.
Well, Kim, that's great. That's great information and great intro. So I have a question for you, specifically in this environment we're in now. So this creator economy now. From your perspective, do you think like becoming an influencer is actually an avenue that you can take for long-term success and like make it a career?
I think it's very much possible, but I think that like everything else, everything isn't for everybody.
Right.
You have to have the right mindset. You have to have the grit. You have to, it's a lot that goes into that to be successful, like anything. Like some people look at, I can be a salon owner, and then they crash in 6 months.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's a lot of skill set and experience and ambition and integrity. It's a lot that goes along with it.
Right.
So if you show up in a space online, you can very well become a millionaire or multimillionaire on a platform like Instagram.
Right.
Because now you're not limited. You're like open up to a world who sees you, and you can sell a product or a service. But it's a lot that goes into it.
Right.
To be successful. And now, people give up so easily.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't get 10 likes. They're like, it's not
So
worth it.
let me move on.
So I think it's very much possible. We're seeing it every day.
Yeah, it's very important to have consistency whenever you're doing those type of business models because, the algorithms are so crazy. You're in, you're out. So you have to stay consistent, I feel like, as a creator. So you are always in front of an audience or your avatar that you're speaking to.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it because influencers, behind the scenes when we put together shows, I've met influencers that basically they're trying to influence something, but they have no experience in the field.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm kind of going, that doesn't make any sense. Like, so they studied up, right? But like you would probably be an incredible influencer because you've done it. Right, you know it. You know the landscape. When you're talking to people in the camera, you have insight because you've done it. So I'm just kind of, now it's a new generation. So I do agree that most likely, if you can perfect the art of selling and you can act like you probably can make a career out of it because, like you said, you have this touch. You could touch so many people now with the tech that you can actually go on and sound like an expert and have followers. So it's a mixed bag because I truly believe in that hard work that you've done behind the scenes to establish your brand and who you are. And now you can use that. And if you wanted to influence people and show people this is how I got here, I think that's more legitimate. I think I have less respect for somebody that just looked it up in a book and now they pretending like they know.
Yeah.
That kind of like turns me off. But if I'm answering my own question, most likely you can become, you can make that a career path if you're dedicated to it. And this this new generation is just a little different that I love. And I want everybody to understand that I'm not knocking the younger kids because you guys have a different lane that we just haven't experienced that lane. So yeah, if you can capitalize on it, I think you probably can make a career out of being an influencer these days.
Yeah, I mean, but I think influencing is specifically just about marketing. It's not really about you knowing a particular like skill set.
True.
It's about you selling the fame behind it. Like you're selling yourself. So it's just marketing more than anything. The only thing I would say is that it moves so fast. And now that you can have AI generated influencers, like how long will being an influencer be an actual career path? Because they're now going to be AI influencers. So that means you can build AI version of a person that talks real estate or that talks whatever, and you don't need a person behind it to do it. So how long will that be an actual career path? But I will say, like you spoke about the creator economy. When I thought about that, I also thought about like streamers and people like that, because a lot of my clients in real estate that are coming to me are like 25 and they're putting 20-30% down on houses from streaming on Twitch and YouTube and all those things. So it's like non-traditional. So raising kids now and thinking that they have to go a traditional path is like crazy.
Absolutely.
You just have to let them be and do what they're going to do because they're highly successful.
And that's the environment they've been raised in.
That's what they've been raised in.
I think that's where that generational gap comes in. And that's why I try my best to respect it. Because this Dawn has knocked it out of the park. Plus, what she said about AI, I just think that's transformational. Coming from a generation that saw the internet being created, now we're seeing another technology being created, and we can pretty much see it's going to take over. And she's right. Now, what's going to happen with that avatar AI that you create that could basically speak for itself, and now it could do pitching, it could put out the perfect pitch. So like so now it's going to be the person behind that AI that's getting paid. It's not going to be you. So that's a totally different level of thought, and that's I think the beautiful part when I think about that is this next generation, they're prepared for it. Because this is all they've ever done. It's all been digital. So they'll acclimate to that space. And it's a really big thing. So that's a beautiful outcome.
And you've heard that now in China, they're requiring the elementary school students as young as 6 years old to learn AI.
Wow, I didn't know that.
America, get yourself together. So if you have a kid, you need to teach them that outside of whatever school they're in, because it's going to be something that's going to affect them.
It used to be like, who's the messenger when you think about an influencer? It's like, okay, is it coming from like, a fashion icon? Like, who is the messenger? Then you would tune in. Now it's much more leaning towards like the skill set of them being able to captivate your attention, like to drag you in, whether it's something negative or stupid, funny or fashion or whatever it is, they have to have an it factor and a skill set to even do that. You know what I mean?
They just have to know how to market it. They could be complete bullshitters.
Exactly.
But if they can convince a certain set of people to believe them, people will pay money to listen to the bullshit.
It was in Pakistan.
Oh my goodness, that was the craziest thing.
No more.
Yes.
Like she got millions, and believe it or not, she's classified it as an influencer. Maybe not in like a positive light, but it's now not like who's the messenger. It's like somebody who has the ability to
suck you
pull
in.
you in.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a.
She had us all in a chokehold, but I really don't feel like she has capitalized on her moment at all.
Right.
Well, she got $3. She just need to take that $3, invest it well, and move it.
Right.
I mean,
because I'm still now while I'm seeing that she's back in the States, like
carrying the same
but
bag.
people are grabbing stuff.
That wasn't nice.
That wasn't nice, dog.
But people are grabbing her up, giving her makeovers, trying to capitalize off of the attention that she's gotten.
Yeah.
So I think she's getting small gifts, just enough like, let me style your hair. So because she has this platform now. But I don't think she has the wherewithal mentally
Right.
to
Well, she
really
was an
take
accidental.
full. Yeah, she was an accidental, so she wasn't prepared.
Gotta
For
be
that.
ready for the
Yeah,
moment.
And I
you
really,
gotta be ready.
I don't think she'll ever be ready for it. To be
Yeah,
honest
well,
with
there-
you.
there you
People
go.
think about all the like fads that have come and they weren't prepared either.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that have happened, and you're like, where did they go?
And you hate to
like
see
even
it,
the
though.
Demore guy.
Yeah.
You know, he got upset because somebody else trademarked the name. You was too slow. You know, and he got upset about that.
Yes.
But he didn't really capitalize off of that either.
Yeah.
It's just
reality
some.
show people. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people go on these shows and platforms, and very few have gotten it, like a Cardi B or a Candy Burris. You know what I mean? Like, they use the platform for what it should be to grow and enhance. Whereas though most are like a distant memory. Like, you can't remember who was on season 1 of it, Love and Hip Hop.
That's true.
You
Right.
don't
Great point.
even.
Great point.
So some get it and some don't.
Yeah.
And I do want to bring up one thing. So, speaking on what you just said, there was this one phenomenon, the Pop the Balloon
Yes.
show, the dating show. And then it was just most recently picked up by Netflix. Now, I don't know the terms of the agreement that they have, but the show is getting horrible reviews now that it's on Netflix.
Oh, wow.
Now she was able to amass like over like 1 million followers, 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and over like 100 million views. And so she was relatively successful, her and her husband, without Netflix.
Yes.
So now I just wonder, does it even make sense once you're able to grow that big on your own? Does it make sense to go to like a Netflix? Does that make it better, or did it make it worse? Because now they're getting horrible reviews of the show. What's the girl? Yvonne Orji.
Yes.
She's the host. And now they're like celebrities on there instead of like real people.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's with everything that Hollywood takes control of.
Think they know better.
Yeah, they try to ride the wave, but they are not sticking to it in its authenticity.
Yeah,
you know,
it it loses artistic value.
Yes, it does, and they try to insert what they may have worked in the past.
Right.
But we are, I guess, intrigued by something new and something interesting.
And raw.
So then when you put it in
Raw.
that
That's
same
the word.
context, the way you've been doing this
Yeah, that
show
little
3
paper
years
cutter
ago, it
nonsense.
And it's
becomes
not
the
the
same.
same.
Yeah.
It dies.
It's
It
not
definitely
the
does.
same.
Yeah.
And you know, Gary Vee's new book
Excuse me.
out, Day Trading Attention, it speaks specifically on that. The whole idea of marketing is you're always looking to get eyes on you. Where are the eyes or whatever? But it talks about how like the commercial marketing world, they are so structured and they're missing the mark.
It doesn't
Because now marketing on social media is strictly about the content.
Right.
And you know, people say, oh, just let me post something. That used to work where you just had to post.
Right.
But the way the algorithm is now, it has to be good and it has to be relevant to your audience.
It definitely does.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, you have to like pay attention to what that is.
Because
So-
definitely when you get to scrolling now, you may know 2 out of the 15 people that you're scrolling. Like it's so many people popping up that you don't even follow, that, you know, they're picking up, I guess, your interest.
Yes,
And
that's what
trying
they're
to
doing.
feed you
What
other
they think you'll
people.
be
Well, I
interested
never see the people that I actually follow. So,
Wow.
you know, it is becoming, do y'all think it'll tap out with all this marketing? Because I know for me, I'm not one that sits and scroll. I'm kind of a selfish creator. I go on to offer my goods and my services, but then I kind of pop out. I actually time block sometimes. So I'm just going to scroll today and like everything that I scroll just because trying to, I
You
guess.
need your feed to look a certain way.
So I'm just wondering though, since we are getting so much pushed in our face in terms of marketing, will that tap out very soon? Are we going to get bored with that now?
Well, you have to look at how the direction that it's going in terms of like AI.
Yeah.
And
Those algos.
they
They control everything, so it's going to keep showing you what you're interested in. So I mean, like you said, the marketing machine behind Meta, also known as Facebook. I mean, that whole Instagram platform, that's all, you know, Mark Zuckerberg and AI, and that is basically $1 billion company for a reason. So you won't get around that. Switching
He just
gears.
bought a house here, by the way.
Yeah, that's what they.
was it like 23 million or something?
Yeah, I mean, because he got
He was a-
he need
he
to
was a
be
secret buyer.
he need to be in
Yeah,
that
it
circle.
was from our broker.
Yeah.
wow.
Wow, that's he.
And-
You know, that's
I wish
Mark.
it was me, but hey.
Man,
Right.
I mean,
And you all have heard that Michelle Obama has a podcast now.
there we go.
Really?
Yeah, she.
Really? Where is it? Like just on?
It's on YouTube
It's her and
and
her
everything.
brother. It's her and her brother.
Oh, nice. I
Yes.
gotta check it
What's
out.
the name
Yeah.
IMO.
Oh, that's
In my
right.
opinion.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
That's
I've
right.
always loved Michelle.
Yeah.
Come on,
She's
who doesn't
phenomenal.
love
Like,
Michelle?
oh my God.
So I know you've heard the rumors that her and Barack have divorce rumors going around. But I mean, she spoke out about it and she was very clear that she just got to a point in her life where she wanted to choose herself and make decisions that were for her and not what everyone expected her to do. And why is it that they always look down on women when we get to a point that we're like, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. I don't want to go here. I don't want to be that. And they automatically put you in these boxes.
Exactly. That's unfortunate.
It is. And I think just the position of being the first lady. All of the first ladies before have just always fell in line. She brought something different to the White House, as well as, I mean, who comes out of the White House and starts a podcast? You know what I mean? So it's. I think she's just bringing her to the masses, honestly, in so many ways. She probably had to deal with those toxic environments for 8 years and has decided that's not what I want in my life. So that goes to speak to, because I definitely view her as an alpha female, even though we talked about that in a previous episode. I think she fulfilled her duties during those 8 years, and now she wants to live life on her own terms.
Even more though than 8 years.
She
probably.
sacrificed
Probably
a lot.
12,
Yeah,
either
a
the
lot.
years
She
leading up
sacrificed
to
a
it
lot.
and the years after.
And she didn't want him to run.
She didn't.
So, but she sacrificed a lot of her privacy,
Yes.
her life. You
Her
know,
children.
she couldn't raise her kids a traditional way.
Yeah.
It's just like you always have the Secret Service in your face.
Yeah.
You know, things. So she sacrificed a lot, and now she probably, and you know, she was a Harvard graduate
Yes.
attorney as well, and she never pursued her career for the sake of her husband, and now she's making a decision for what she wants, and people have an issue with that.
Was it Harvard or Princeton?
Was it Princeton?
I'm
I
not
don't
sure,
know.
but I do
One
know
of the
that
big
she
ones.
was his mentor when
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
got
When
to
he
the
got to
law
law
firm.
firm, yeah.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. She was obviously living her life as this woman, this career-driven woman, and put that aside for the greater good. Praise God she
Thank
did that,
you.
because
Thank you, Michelle.
Power move.
they showed us something that we had never seen,
Right.
and I'm so proud that we got to witness
Yes.
that.
Always.
You know,
Yes.
yeah. But I
And they
do think
represented
that
us
she now has the. She's decided I'm going to be Michelle Obama. But what's her maiden name? I don't even remember what her maiden name is.
Yeah.
But like, I'm living life on my terms. So
I think
love
people
it.
just need something to talk about, though. I mean, really, when that came up, I just thought it was so stupid because, first of all, I didn't even hear those rumors. Secondly, Michelle never wanted to be in politics. She's made that very clear.
Yes.
Secondly, she went very hard for Kamala. Thirdly, you could tell she doesn't mess with Trump. Period.
Right.
At
So
all.
so when she didn't show up at any of those events, we all knew why.
Yeah.
She was just like, I'm done with that. Like, she doesn't like what he represents. She's made it very clear.
Yeah.
She does not have to sit 2 seconds from this guy and sit here and hobnob when she's made it clear she doesn't like him. So what is everybody talking about? Just because she didn't show up to the event, now they have marital problems?
Right.
That was just dumb. I'm like,
There's something
no.
else too, though. Was it Jimmy Carter's?
Yeah, now I think
He
maybe
didn't go to that or
maybe she
something?
should have probably worked it out for Jimmy because he's in the party. Because I mean, he's an old school veteran, OG. I get it, but at the same time, I think a lot of us, if I don't like you, I don't like you.
right.
And I don't really want to be in your space because you messing up my positive energy. She has the right. As a person, not just a female or a male, she has the right to go, yeah, I don't want to show up for that. Like, she's Michelle, who all of us, honestly, I love Barack.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when she is in political mode, she's better than Barack.
Yeah.
Like, she can just speak, the way she talks to the crowds and the way she speaks, you feel her.
Yeah.
And everybody knows she has power. So everybody wants her to be this politician that she doesn't want to be. And it's kind of like, leave her alone. Like,
Let her be.
and get out of their business.
Yeah.
Like, how all of a sudden they have marital problems because she didn't
He's
show
with
up to a couple
Jennifer
events.
Aniston.
Come on.
Like, what?
Like,
And it's like, and if they do have marital problems, that's normal.
thank you.
That's just
I mean,
life.
they've been together forever.
Yeah, that's
Like,
just life.
yeah.
Let them work through it. They'll figure it out.
Period.
They're both
and,
smart.
And I love our country, but again, when it came up, I was like, because they are so smart and brilliant, they even understand that, you know, marital couples on the president's level, they don't separate people. Like, I can't recall a divorce amongst any presidents.
Yeah.
So they're not going to break that precedent, right? They understand the game. They're not going to do that. So
even if they decide to, they would be well within their right.
Ever happen?
No, I just think because the tradition of the United States of America, and it's kind of like what Tanya touched on, they represent so much.
That's too much, though.
I know, but that's the cross that they have to bear for reaching that level in society where you have, and they don't want to. They're not going to want to be in that stereotype either. Oh, the only black couple is the only one that didn't make it, right? Like, they the only one to separate and divorce. They just smart. They understand politics. Barack has been brilliant at that. Again, she's an incredibly smart spokesperson. They're just on another level. They're not going to feed into that. But again, my thing is the whole thing was dumb. People just want something to talk about, and really they still are human. Leave them alone.
But in my opinion, shout out to no pun intended, but I think that she would be well within her right if she did want to step away from the marriage. She has proven that she is not going to live by societal, the way they dictate a first lady to be. Right. Yeah. So if she decides that she wants a divorce and they're the first, it shouldn't be about, right. And I don't think they will either, but I think the way she's presenting herself is saying, guess what? I can do what I want to do. You know what I mean?
And that's still empowering though, right? Like you still see
but
her
it's not expected from a first lady, which is why they're giving her so much backlash about not being at Jimmy Carter's funeral and all of the other things that she's, I guess, been absent from recently. But she's well within her right.
And she's used to it anyway. Remember, they used to give her issues about wearing sleeveless nonsense, right?
With those beautiful arms.
All right, like she's used to everybody giving her nonsense about it. So this not bothering her. I mean, I know she knows what's going on, and that's the only place we'll disagree. I think they do owe it to our culture and the world to just be them. Right, but at the same time, don't be breaking that precedent. Like, please, I don't.
I gotta be devil's advocate though. Why can't it be that they're both happy and their season was what it was, and they've been great parents, they've been great political figures, and now they're branching off into their new chapters. Why can't that exist and them not be? Oh well, you can't mess up the culture and get divorced.
Because
why would we want people to stay in something they're not happy with? For our sake, they could go on and be great. It doesn't mean that they're not great.
I think she makes a great point, but
yeah.
I mean, I just think again, they're incredibly blessed. I really love them, what they are. My kids now know that you can have a black president. That's unprecedented. Right. Like, you know, so I think they mean so much specifically to us. That I think they just have to carry that torch of, you know, just a married couple handling their business. I mean, look, man, I mean, like when Will Smith and Jada went out, they already broke my heart. I'm like, I used to love Will. I used to think they were a great African-American couple that really held it down and stayed out of the media. I mean, that was a crash.
But how you like them? She is a alpha female.
I know, but I'm just saying that their crash and burn situation was very disappointing. And all I'm just saying
I'm not a Jada fan.
And I'm not either. And all I'm just saying is just using that as an example, how I was just like, damn, they done torched it, and here they go feeding into the dumbass stereotype. I just think on that level, and I know it's a sacrifice, God. I know that the Obamas are making a sacrifice, and I agree with you totally. But it's got to be a sacrifice because, like, they all we got left.
Don't even care.
Yeah, no, for the world. I mean, for everybody in the whole culture that's holding it down. I'm like, hold it. They just gotta hold it down for us, man, because I don't like when.
But why would you put that on them? You didn't hold it down and stay together for your kids.
I didn't have that level of visibility though.
Human at the end of the day.
But you were visible to your kids.
I still am.
And you didn't stay married to their mother.
What I'm saying is I'm not a public figure though. But I'm not a public figure. It matters.
You were a public figure to them.
But
you were more important to your kids than the Obamas are.
All right. And what I'm saying is
so
that's
you can't stay in your own marriage.
No. That's two totally different issues.
Oh, you want to make it two totally different issues.
It's actually clearly two different issues because what you're saying, I totally agree with, right? What I'm saying on a personal level, again, you know, I'm going to be a father to my kids no matter what. That's going to be what it is. That's my lane. I'm going to handle that business. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying that when you step into the public light and when you become a public figure, the responsibilities that you inherit are greater. That's just the bottom line. And like they're there, and like I said, they're there for a reason. They're universally loved for a reason. They are an incredibly beautiful power couple. Try your best.
But that's
no, I can't. I think I'm agreeing with you, right? I think it's unfair to be like, y'all should stay together.
Right.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm totally agreeing with you. But for all of us to have our fingers crossed, like, please, can we just have one? You know, that's all I'm saying. That's all.
But that is not bigger than the responsibility of a father.
Right.
I'm not saying that.
Right. So if you didn't do it, don't put that on them.
Nah, what I'm saying is me as a person again, since I've been interjecting in this from this one over here. What I'm saying is I'm a great father figure. Anybody that knows me knows that I hold it down. I'm a model. Father. So my point there is that's a different lane though. I'm not known universally throughout the world, and I'm not the only African American presidential couple on the planet. It's a difference, right? And I'm just saying we need role models too. My kids need role models. Black people need role models. People need somebody, some people to aspire to. That's why they're so loved. People, like you just said it, people love that perfect picture, even though it might not be perfect.
It is a fairy tale.
It's just that they are that couple that you go, fuck, you can at least aspire for that.
And it is a fairy tale, but at the end of the day, we only can control what we can control, which is our family. So I have to be that fairy tale to my kids.
That's true.
As much as possible. Because I can't depend on whether the Obamas are going to stay together or not. You know, right. So my feelings towards that aren't as strong. But if your feelings are that strong, then you should have stayed married.
But speaking of fathers, we talked about fathers on a grand level. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about some of these fathers now that aren't really showing up as fathers, specifically the Anthony Edwards situation.
Nice transition.
He said, I don't want to be nobody baby daddy. He said, I ain't doing it. Straight up. He probably told her that after she did the pregnancy test.
No, he told her that when she said she was pregnant. He texted her like some little crazy message like, get the abortion. I don't want the baby. He made it very clear that he didn't want a baby.
But can you have that clarity after the fact?
Yeah,
shouldn't that clarity come with protection?
It absolutely should have. It should have. But we have so many examples of how that whole narrative goes completely left. You're out having a good time. You know you're a sports figure.
Right.
And there are people who make a career out of targeting people with wealth.
Yeah, I made the wrong career choice. I should have did that.
Have some cool weekends, have unprotected sex, and just pray for a baby.
Right.
So you set yourself up for that. She also set herself up for somebody who doesn't want to be present. So they're both like crazy.
But I guess what caught my attention about this story was, if this is actually accurate, that he is willing to pay the whole $1.8 million up front for 18 years of this child's life. He is clear that he does not want to be present. He doesn't want to have any contact with the child's mother, nor the child. So if the court decides that this is something that can move forward, we would be seeing an unprecedented child support case.
Absolutely.
And will that then change the climate of the way women approach having children? People seem to feel like people do it, I don't know, as a career already. Does it really say, if I can get this million after going out with Anthony Edwards twice,
and she has a kid,
should I do that?
Too.
Because that will really, I think, for people who go after those type of situations, I think that will intrigue you. But I think what I think about with that, what happens when the child is 6 and she done blew through that 1.8 million? Because it doesn't take that. If you are not someone who actually earned it, I think the way you spend it is totally
gone.
Quickly.
Absolutely.
Quick.
Yeah.
So who suffers is this child?
Like a lot, but hey.
And how do you as a man, even though you did not want that child, know that your child, your DNA is walking on this earth, and you literally are saying, I want to have nothing to do with this, because this story is going to be out there for this child to see at some point.
That's horrible. That's really, really hard. That's the person who I feel sorry for in the equation. It's the kid who's going to grow up, and this is splattered everywhere that you weren't wanted, and you were just, that's not cool.
Then who do you blame? Do you blame him for not wanting to be a father, or do you blame her for making the decision to move forward with the pregnancy?
Sad to say, I blame her.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, I'm a woman at the end of the day, but if a man tells me loud and clear, especially if I know that I'm a woman on that whole narrative wave of my mission is to secure the bag, and then, you know, like, girl, you don't deserve shit. Like, I don't feel sorry for you, and I'm a woman.
But I really feel like I don't always feel like women are out there trying to secure the bag. I think her look secures the bag.
So you don't think that's part of her mission?
Yeah, I think it felt like
I think when you get in that environment, these guys choose you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right.
But
so I just hate that the woman always takes the brunt of that scenario, because I've been in those type of environments in my younger years. And once you become a part of that environment, these are the people that you're around all the time.
It's different.
So just
but when somebody but
have you seen the track record? Have you seen?
I mean, I know she has a child with a little baby
but
as
before
well.
that, like, some of these young women or women in general, like, their whole persona and what they're promoting and everything is looks, body. You know what I mean? And I'm not hating, but it's just like.
But if I have the opportunity to go out with an NBA player, a good-looking one at that, as opposed to somebody that works at, I don't know, Wingstop.
Yeah, well,
I mean, and I'm not knocking people's career choices, but
it's one thing if they're in a relationship and they care about each other and they're moving towards something. It's another thing if we're just screwing.
clearly.
Yeah.
So it's like if y'all are just screwing, then you should protect yourself and make sure that you don't get pregnant. Even if he's trying to go raw or whatever, you protect yourself and make sure you don't get pregnant.
but I think he has more responsibility to protect himself than she
Well,
does.
I mean, he has more
He
money.
has more to lose.
He has more money.
Yeah.
But that's more reason why he's dumb.
Yeah.
Because if you got more money, you should definitely be the one strapping up.
But I always feel like the woman gets the brunt of this situation. Everybody is in an uproar with her about this.
Because because she probably knew that he was not shit from the beginning.
He has a couple kids.
Yeah,
like, that
so
are a
if
year or
you
two
know that,
old.
why
Like,
would you put yourself in that position? The red flags are waving, and you're still like, no, come on over here, boo. I'm about to back it up for you.
And that's my question, because I think that I'm going with your thought process of being in the circle, because you're in the circle and it's going to be what it's going to be. I'm just thinking that the people that are in that circle, though, you do take into account this is an athlete. He's young. He's most likely going to always be doing what he's doing until he retired. I mean, like, I'm not knocking professional athletes at all. Not saying that professional athletes can't be monogamous, but just like any kind of celebrity, they already know what's in that environment. Like, you already know what to expect. So I think people they're a little bit more harsh towards her, because they feel like you should take that calculation into consideration. Secondly, when I first heard that story, I actually thought from his standpoint, and again, I don't know if the judge ruled on this or not. I'm not really big on like trying to drill down on celebrity nonsense, but I thought that the judge may have had ruled that 1.8, boom, you could pay it up front. When I thought that was the situation, I thought it was actually brilliant on his part.
That's low.
Right? I'm like, and now you locked her into a number. Yeah, I'm like, you locked her into a number. She can't come back on, like, when you get a $60 billion contract, she can't go, oh, I need an increase, right? So I'm like, so if that, from that standpoint for athletes, if that were to become the precedent, I think a lot of athletes would try that. I think anybody that signed for that, though, that would be silly.
But is it something that she had to agree to?
She would have to.
Right, because couldn't you just say, no, I don't want to agree to
Right,
that?
no, she doesn't have to, because she could just go the traditional route.
Yeah.
And that's why the story caught my eye. I was wondering, I was like,
Why
did
would
they
she
agree to this?
Yeah,
Because if she agreed to it, that'd be a bad agreement.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Because it was like Tanya saying, I mean, they're going to blow through that 1.8 because she didn't earn it. We know how that goes.
Yeah.
And then now all of a sudden the kid's going to be in a situation. Right, exactly. So you have so many things that are escalating situations. But at the same time, my only counter thought was, unfortunately, athletes also have a bad habit of going broke.
True.
So then I was kind of like, well, damn, from a certain extent, if I get $2 million up front, because I don't know where this guy going to be in 10 years.
Or how many other kids.
How many
right.
kids?
How many other situations you're going to have that's going to be court mandated, it's going to hit his pockets. maybe I could take this $2 million and build a life for myself, and he out of my space.
Well, she is an entrepreneur.
See, so I mean, like,
So
I
she
don't,
may know what to do with it.
right. So because we assume that she doesn't, but if she
Yeah.
really does know to do that $2 million, then now to be actually pretty smart. Because now because like you said, he's already made a decree. I don't want to be a part of your life. Right. All right, so if that's what we're doing, you pay up this $2 million up front. All right, go your way. And if she really knows what to do with the money, I mean, that's a nice jump start. Right. She could be back in the building. So. It's interesting. It's an interesting scenario.
Because I really do feel like it will perpetuate the whole gold digger environment.
Syndrome, right?
Yeah, environment, syndrome, whatever it may be. But I think if this does happen, it will put people in a position where they're on the hunt for these type of situations.
They're on the hunt anyway.
Yeah, they're out there no matter what. Like you said.
But I think
that one is like 1.8.
Right.
Have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not too many times you get that kind of lick. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but like
It's
you said,
sad,
it set a
though.
precedent.
Because at the end, it's like you have a child. That's a life. And that's why I think we have so many people who feel they have abandonment issues or they have, they feel inadequate because something has happened along the way.
Right.
Yeah, for
Where
sure.
that seed has been planted. Now you have an adult who's like,
Scarred.
what's wrong?
And
You know
all
what I
jacked
mean?
up,
It leads
right.
back to like, how did this all start? Like to know your dad
Doesn't
didn't
want
like
you.
get the abortion.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's not going to be a good feeling in 18 years.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll make her put it in a trust though.
Yeah.
I feel like
yeah.
they should force
For sure.
it to be.
Percentage of it, at least.
At least something where she can't just blow through all the money.
Yeah, incremental or something set up.
Yeah, there should be something
Makes
for
sense.
sure. But you're right, that does cause a lot of emotional issues for the kid. And then he gonna end up dating somebody and jacking up her life.
Yeah. It's crazy to me though. Because can your actual father ever be replaced in that situation?
No.
Do you find the village that, because
she
it's like you got the money, now I just need
she
to
might marry-
like surround myself with
She
this
might go
village.
marry Future. She like to date all the rappers and stuff. She go marry Future, and then he pissed too. So you can't
Right,
go
I mean,
by him.
you got to dice that
She
up
gonna
a
get her
lot.
right. She gonna get her Russell Simmons. I mean Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Oh,
She gonna get her Russell Wilson, and then it worked out for Sierra.
Right.
She had a terrible baby daddy and ended up with someone great that came in and became a father figure to her kids. So it's a possibility, but she does have to start dating outside of her type. Because, as women, we tend to always want to date this particular type that don't always work for us.
Exactly.
And then we end up jacked up and be like,
And she's not a very young woman either. I mean, she's younger than us,
older than him,
obviously.
though.
Yeah, she's much older than him. I think she's like at least
the
10 years
older
than him.
women is going after them
Yeah.
youngins.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
messing around.
But the older women are going after the youngins, getting their money.
What's her name?
They are not playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said, "Oh, give me that coin."
But it does
tripping.
seem like they're more in a relationship because they're out and about together. Obviously we don't know them, but they have been
She
photographed.
only
She's
in it
at
for
the
the money.
game.
Come on, stop it. She in it for the money.
Well, she's an entrepreneur herself as well.
Yeah, she is, but she's in it for the
And
money.
that's a form of work.
She's in it for the money. She's in it for the money.
Wow.
If regular women who are not as beautiful as them are in it for the money, she's in it for the money.
Yeah, and time is of the essence.
Yeah, she got to
She's
figure it
not
out
getting
before
younger.
she about to be
So
50.
she's secured. I mean, if that's her narrative, she's
Yeah.
secured another 18 years.
Yeah. Is that a bad thing?
I'm not mad at her. I'm all for happiness.
If that's
It might
your
not
career
be my
choice,
business
you have
model,
to
but
stick
I'm
to
all
the
for
plan.
doing
Yeah.
what's for
That's her
you.
career choice.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
it is what it is.
Whatever works. It wouldn't be my thing, but whatever works for you. You like it, I love it.
Well, I want to thank Kim for coming in.
Thank you all so much.
I
It's
mean,
been
Grit, thank you for
amazing.
being on Unspoken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfiltered, unapologetic.
Unapologetic and something else.
It's
Anyway,
unscripted.
And unscripted.
Yes, I love it. This has been amazing. Thank you all so much.
Let everybody know where they can find you, Kim.
So I'm at ambiance_furs on Instagram. That's my fur company. And then I'm at Kim Rice Real Estate on Instagram, but I just launched this week my page where I'm bringing everything, real estate, art, fashion, everything. It's IM_K Rice. So you can find me there. Thanks.
Okay, K Rice.
All right. And I'm Marcel Clarke. Go to my website, marcelclarke.co. Find the book, Hiding in Plain View. I promise you it's going to be a great read.
And I'm Dawn Garrett. I am the Dawn. Please follow me if you want to learn how to build generational wealth in real estate.
And I am Tanya Bellamy. Follow me at The Real Hair Icon. And I am your go-to for anything beauty related.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey. Okay, thank you for visiting Unspoken. Remember, hit that like button, subscribe, and please leave feedback in that comment section. We out.
Unscripted. Hey!